What is going on, guys? And again, it's been a while since I did this video. I said I was going to do a part two, and I've been just kind of putting it off because of WrestleMania. But here's part two of my favorite champion of each championship of every single year. And we did 2016 to 2020. So now we will do 2021 to 2024. And we are not doing 2025 because this year has not ended and there's still probably a lot more championship reigns to be talked about. So let's get straight into it. 2021 World Heavyweight Champion. We had Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Bobby Lashley, and Big E. Now, with this being said, I love The Miz, and I also like Big E's reign. But Drew McIntyre in 2021, in the pandemic area, and even now, Drew McIntyre has been quite the guy. He's been the guy, for the past 4 or 5 years. And I don't think you can really take anything away from Drew McIntyre. So I'm going to go Drew McIntyre. Raw Women's Champion. We had Asuka, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Nikki Ash, a.k.a. Nikki Cross. And we had Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. I'm going to personally go with Asuka. Asuka, anytime she holds the Women's World Championships, I think she has an amazing reign. And there's nothing to really take away from her, to be honest with you. And the fact that she lost it to Rhea Ripley really just makes me feel like Asuka is a great champion. United States Championship gets a little iffy because we have Bobby Lashley, Riddle, Sheamus, and Priest. This is a two-way tie between Riddle and Sheamus. Sheamus, he's a great champion when he is a champion. When he was WWE champion, he was good. When he was tag team champions with Cesaro called The Bar, I think he was really good. But Riddle as the United States champion, that was really like kind of his coming out party into the main roster. So it's between Riddle and Sheamus. Raw Tag Team Champions, The Hurt Business, The New Day, AJ Styles and Omos, and RK Bro. RK Bro and The New Day is going to have to take this for me. I couldn't really choose one, to be honest with you. The New Day and RK Bro, two tag teams. One is a declarated tag team, and RK Bro was something that I was getting into. I didn't understand it at first, but they started to grow on me. They were one of those teams where I was like, why is this happening whatsoever? But the comedic relief out of both of them was just very, very funny. And then we had, on SmackDown in 2021, we had the Universal Champion, obviously, Roman Reigns. Can't really say anything about that. SmackDown's Women's Champion, we had Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. I'm going to go with Sasha Banks here. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to go Bianca Belair here. And the reason why I'm going to go Bianca Belair is because I feel like Charlotte's reigns are really kind of like one and done type things. And also, I don't really know why, but Sasha Banks, I think I've chosen her multiple times in my last video. Becky Lynch, she obviously was becoming the man around that time. But Bianca Belair, as a SmackDown Women's Champion, she was a fighting champion, as she always is when she is a champion. And I just think in 2021, she did better than the rest of those. Intercontinental Champion, we have Big E, Apollo Crews, and Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm going to honestly go Big E. I kind of forgot Shinsuke even won the Intercontinental Championship and Apollo Crews, but Big E's is more memorable to me. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, we had the Street Profits, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio, and we had the Usos. Obviously, this is a done deal. It's between the Street Profits and the Usos. NXT titles in 2021. Now, this is crazy. Because NXT champions, we had Finn Balor, Karrion Kross, Samoa Joe, Tommaso Ciampa. You had to be there to experience the Tommaso Ciampa reign. Tommaso Ciampa is one of those guys. He's one of one. He really was doing a good job at NXT. I really had high hopes for him and Gargano on the main roster. I didn't think they were going to do the whole DIY bit again. But Tommaso Ciampa in NXT, I advise you guys to go watch it. Women's champion, we had Raquel Rodriguez, Mandy Rose, and Io Shirai. Mandy Rose, she was one of those people where she, again, was growing on me. And when she became NXT Women's Champion, it really was good. She had a great reign before she got released. So we're going to go Mandy Rose there. NXT North American Champions, we had Gargano, Bronson Reed, Isaiah Swerve Scott, and Carmelo Hayes. I'm going to go Carmelo Hayes. 2021 was the year where Carmelo Hayes was really starting to become that guy, and we didn't see it yet, but him winning that North American Championship really put him right there on the cusp of being great. NXT Tag Team Champions, we had the Britt and Brawlers, Danny Butch and Oni Larkin. They were vacated. We had MSK and Imperium. I'm going to go with Imperium there. NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, I don't really know who did the best, honestly. Dakota Kai, Raquel Rodriguez, they were a tag team at one point, for those of you that don't know. Ember Moon and Shotzi. And then The Way won it, which is Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. We had Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. And then Toxic Attraction. I'm going to go with Toxic Attraction. And then the Cruiserweight Champion, we had Jordan Devlin, a.k.a. JD McDonough. We had Santos Escobar again, Kushida, and Roderick Strong. I'm going to go with Roderick Strong here. And then we had something. We had the $1 Million Champion. Now, I forgot this was even a thing. I had to go back and watch some of the matches. But we had LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, and then Ted DiBiase ended up coming out of retirement, winning the belt, and then going back into retirement. Honestly, I'm just going to go Ted DiBiase since it is his championship, by the way. NXT UK titles for 2021, we had NXT United Kingdom champions, Walter and Ilya Dragunov. Obviously, I'm going to go Walter, a.k.a. Gunther. Women's UK Championship, Kaylee Ray and Miyako Satomura. I'm going to go Kaylee Ray. NXT UK Heritage Cup, we had A-Kid, Tyler Bate, Noam Dar. I'm going to go Tyler Bate. NXT UK Tag Team Champions, we had Gallus, Pretty Deadly, Mustache Mountain. I'm going to go Pretty Deadly. And I want to talk about this. We had quite the issue here, because Mr. Money in the Bank, The Miz had the Money in the Bank from 2020 and cashed in 2021, and then Big E won it. And then Nikki Ash won Money in the Bank, guys. Nikki Ash. Keep in mind. And then women's tag team champion, we had Asuka and Charlotte Flair, which was an actual tag team. Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler was a tag team. Natalya and Tamina was an actual tag team. Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley was a tag team. And Carmella and Queen Zelina Vega. Honestly, the best team that I honestly remember out of all of this is Asuka and Charlotte Flair. And then 24/7 champion, obviously I gotta go with R-Truth there. I'm not gonna go with Angel Garza. I'm not gonna go with Alicia Fox, Peter Rosenborg. I'm not gonna go with Akira Tozawa. I'm not gonna go with Drew Gallagher, Drake Maverick, even though Drake Maverick was a good 24/7 champion. It was a comedic championship, but I liked it when Drake Maverick had it. But R-Truth really made that title prestigious without R-Truth, I think the 24/7 championship was just something they were experimenting with. And then in 2022, the World Heavyweight Championship, we had Big E, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, and then Roman Reigns. Without me choosing Roman Reigns, because I already know once we get to the undisputed Universal Championship, it's going to be Roman Reigns without a doubt. I'm going to go with somebody different here. I'm going to go with Big E. Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. I'm going to go Becky Lynch here. United States Champion, we had Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and then Austin Theory again. I honestly think that Rollins is the only key person I can go with here. And then Raw Tag Team Champions, we had RK Bro, Alpha Academy, RK Bro, the Usos. I'm going to go with RK Bro. And then Universal Champion, like I said earlier, Roman Reigns. SmackDown Women's Champion, we had Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, Liv Morgan, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. I think I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair, all because Ronda Rousey's reign was not that long and Liv Morgan was just pouncing out onto the scene. Now, this was probably the only reign I really liked out of Charlotte Flair, and when she was, I think one of the times when she was Raw Women's Champion, but I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair here. Intercontinental Champion, Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Gunther. I'm going to go with Gunther here because this starts his reign of terror with the Intercontinental Championship. And then we had the SmackDown Tag Team titles, obviously, Usos. And then NXT titles. NXT Champion, we had Tommaso Ciampa, Braun Breaker. Dolph Ziggler was a NXT Champion. And then Braun Breaker again. I'm going to go Braun Breaker. Not because he won it twice, but because, again, that was one of his coming out parties. And NXT Women's Champion, we have Mandy Rose and Roxanne Perez. I'm still going to go Mandy Rose because before Roxanne Perez even won the belt, Mandy Rose was still carrying that division. North American Champions, Carmelo Hayes, Cameron Grimes, Carmelo Hayes, Solo Sikoa, Wes Lee. I'm going to go Wes Lee. If you guys weren't there for the North American Championship for Wes Lee when he was holding the belt, he was actually very good. The North American Championship without Wes Lee, in my opinion, means nothing, to be honest with you. Now, with Obafemi winning it, it definitely means something still with the reign he had, but Wes Lee really, and I mean really, made that title stand out. Because yes, Carmelo Hayes won it, Solo Sikoa won it, but Wes Lee was one of those guys. He was like one of one with the title. It went hand in hand. NXT Tag Team Champions, we had Imperium, MSK, Pretty Deadly, the Creed Brothers, Pretty Deadly, and the New Day were NXT Tag Team Champions in 2022. I'm not going to pick the New Day because they're not a actual like NXT tag team. I think they were down there to just help develop the talent. I'm going to go with the Creed Brothers, NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Again, Toxic Attraction. Raquel Rodriguez and Dakota Kai are still a tag team around this time. Total Attraction. Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez was champion by herself, so it was vacant. And then it was vacant. Both titles were vacant. And then Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Again, Toxic Attraction. None of these other tag teams really stand out. NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Roderick Strong. And then it was unified and retired by the NXT North American Champion Carmelo Hayes. I'm going to go with Carmelo Hayes here just because he was the last person to win it. NXT United Kingdom Champion, we had Ilya Dragunov, Tyler Bate, and then the NXT Champion, Braun Breaker. I'm going to go with Braun Breaker. Again, this was his coming out year whatsoever. And then we had NXT UK Women's Champion Mikai Satomura. Don't hold me to that if I'm not saying the name right. And then it was unified by the NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose. So obviously Mandy Rose. NXT UK Heritage Cup Noam Dar. Mark Coffey, Noam Dar. I'm going to go Noam Dar there. And then the UK Tag Team Champions. We have Mustache Mountain, Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter. Vacant, Brooke Jensen and Josh Briggs. And then it was unified by the Tag Team Champions Pretty Deadly. Brooke Jensen and Josh Briggs were a good tag team that really complemented each other. So I'm going to go with them. And then we had the 24/7 championship. Again, do I really need to talk about this? 24/7 champion. We don't think of Tamina. We don't think of Nikki Cross. We don't think of Dana Brooke. We don't think of Reggie. We don't think of Akira Tozawa. We think of R-Truth when it comes to this title. And let's see. Money in the Bank that year was Austin Theory, who again, they made him cash in on the United States Championship because they didn't want to end Roman Reigns' reign. So they had him cash in on the United States Championship, and they still made him lose. Remember that. Miss Money in the Bank was Liv Morgan, and successfully cashed in for the SmackDown Women's Championship, which is how she won it in 2022. And then Andre the Giant Battle Memorial. Guess who won? If you're not a real wrestling fan, Madcap Moss. I know. That sounds so long ago, doesn't it? And then in 2023, we had the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins, who was the inaugural champion. And then the Women's World Champion, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. And I'm going to go Rhea Ripley with that one. 2023, Gunther, Intercontinental Championship. Come on now. 2023 Raw Tag Team Champions. We had the Usos, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the Judgment Day, Cody Rhodes and the Usos, and the Judgment Day. Now here, I would say Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They were in the main event of WrestleMania. They beat the Usos, ending their long-term reign. And the Judgment Day, they weren't really defending the titles all like that. I mean, yes, they lost to Cody and Jay, but there was really nothing else for them to do, honestly. And then, obviously, Universal Championship, don't gotta say it again. Raw Women's Champion, WWE Women's Champions, we had Bianca Belair, Asuka, then it switched to the Women's Championship, Bianca Belair, Io Sky. I'm going to go Io Sky because if I remember correctly, Io Sky is the one that cashed in her Money in the Bank on Bianca Belair that year, the same night, to become Women's Champion. And then we had the United States Champion of 2023. We had Austin Theory, Rey Mysterio, Logan Paul. I'm going to honestly go, out of all of these, I'm going to go Austin Theory. I don't think Rey Mysterio's U.S. Championship run in 2023 is really memorable. And if I got to go with 2024, actually, no, I'm going to switch it. I'm going to go Logan Paul. Even though he rarely defended it, he is a great heel. And him having a championship and just like, hey, I'll defend it when I want it to is a really good, aspect and a good knock on a heel. And then SmackDown Tag Team Champions, again, Usos, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. That's when the titles were pretty much together, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. NXT Champion, we had Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov. I'm going to go Carmelo Hayes. That was the year that Melo didn't miss. And then 2023 Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez, Indy Hartwell. It was vacated. Then we had Tiffany Stratton, Becky Lynch, and Lyra Valkyria. part of me wants to say Becky Lynch because she helped that division and she was pretty much putting everybody over while still winning her belt. But Lyra Valkyria winning the belt from Becky Lynch at this point in time in Becky's career, I think that was a lot better of like a knock on being a champion. And then the North American Championship, again, Wesley, Dominic Mysterio, Trick Williams, Dominic Mysterio, Dragon Lee. This is a two-way tie. Because I'm going to go Wesley again and Dragon Lee. 2023 NXT Tag Team Champions. Listen to this. We had The New Day, Gallus, Tony D'Angelo, and Channing Stacks Lorenzo, Chase U, Tony D'Angelo, and Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Now, I don't really know, honestly, so I'm going to go with Tony D'Angelo and Stacks Lorenzo. 2023, the Women's NXT Tag Team Champions. And hang on, we had Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Fallon Henley and Kiana James, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. I honestly just got to go with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, not just because of their name, because they unified it and retired those belts as well. NXT UK Heritage Cup, Noam Dar, Nathan Frazier, Noam Dar. And then the women's tag team titles. Damage Control, Io Sky and Dakota Kai. Becky Lynch and Lita were a tag team. Liv Morgan and Raquel, they were vacant. Then we had Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Liv Morgan and Raquel. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville were a tag team, guys. And Piper Niven was kind of like in the background. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. I'm going to go with Damage Control that year. And then, here goes. Mr. Money in the Bank, Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest in 2023, Io Sky 2023. And the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle winner is Bobby Lashley. And then, 2024, World Heavyweight Champion, we had Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and Gunther. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. I mean, his 5-minute and 40-something second reign was very, very great. 5 minutes as champion, I think, honestly, is one of the shortest records in my... I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. I think it honestly has to be Seth Rollins, given how he carried that belt and still made it prestigious when Roman was holding all the belts, and they gave him the opportunity, gave the people on Monday Night Raw an opportunity to win a world title because all of the world titles were on Roman. So they said, hey, Seth, make this title prestigious, and he did it. So yeah, I'm going to go with Seth Rollins. I'm kidding about the whole Drew McIntyre thing. And then 2024, we had the WWE Women's World Championship. We had Rhea Ripley. It was vacated. Then we had Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan. I'm going to go. I think I'm honestly going to go Rhea Ripley because that was the year, like the Judgment Day, like Priest being Money in the Bank and Tag Team Champions, along with Rhea being Women's World Champion, and then you also had Damian Priest as World Champion at one point. So having two of the Raw World Champions, women and male champions, in the same faction is really, really a great story to tell. 2024, we had Gunther as the Intercontinental Champion. Sami Zayn beat Gunther. Braun Breaker beat Sami Zayn. Jay beat Jay Uso. And then Braun Breaker beat Jay. I honestly, and this is just me, gonna go with Braun Breaker that year. Yes, Gunther was still champion for the most part, but for him to lose to Jay and then win it back, I like that. Women's Intercontinental Championship, we've only had one, so that doesn't really matter. And then Tag Team Champions that day, we had the Judgment Day, Awesome Truth, the Judgment Day, and then the War Raiders. The Judgment Day really didn't defend their tag team championships around the second time around, or else I would choose them. The Awesome Truth, I did like how they were being presented on TV as a comical act, in my opinion. So I'm going to go The Miz and R-Truth. And then Friday Night SmackDown, we had... I'm sorry, guys. We had the Undisputed Universal Champion. We had Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Gotta go with Roman just because of how his reign ended, and it took two Hall of Famers, his friend, and a guy coming out of retirement to pretty much beat Roman. And then we had the WWE Universal Women's Champion, Io Sky. We had Bayley. And then we had Nia Jax. I'm going to go with Io Sky. The story between Io Sky and Bayley and Damage Control was really, really good story to tell. We had LA Knight and Logan Paul for the United States Championship. Gotta go with LA Knight. SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We had a lot of tag team championship changes on SmackDown, more than we had on Raw. DIY, Straight Profits, Motor City Machine Gun, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu, 8 Down Under. I'm going to go. Me personally, I'm going to go with Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Just for the simple fact, it was being retold as a new bloodline happening, and I really thought this new bloodline story was going to go a lot further than what it did. And seeing Jacob Fatu finally on the scene and getting to win championship gold that quickly was something good to see. And then NXT champions, right? I'm just going to start with the obvious ones. NXT Tag Team Champions, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. I love their matches. Nathan Frazier moves exactly how Seth Rollins did pre-knee injury, and probably even a little better and quicker. And they seem to never have a bad match. This past weekend at Stand and Deliver, I think they had one of the best matches of the whole entire weekend. Kalani Jordan was women's NXT champion, and she was my favorite. And then North American champion. This is one of the guys I cannot wait to see come up to the main roster, and hopefully he gets a dream match with Jacob Fatu, Oba Femi, and then Roxanne Perez. Obviously, she carried that women's division so much. And then my favorite NXT champion of last year, which is what we're going to end on, was Ethan Page. Ethan Page, I love the whole ego personality he's doing in that character. It's really good. And Ethan Page is another guy where he has a personal dream match of mine with Logan Paul. I hope they do Ethan Page versus Logan Paul, ego versus ego match. I would love that, to see who has the biggest ego. And that concludes this. Let me know who your favorite champions were from 2021 to 2024. Did I get anything wrong? Did you guys like everything I had to say? Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know who your favorite champions of each year was. And I will see you guys in the next one. And subscribe. We are 5 subscribers away from 200. So I will see you guys in the next one. I'm out.